looking to get into the quarterfinals in the next round. Still the top of the first inning, and these two teams, of course, very good matchup, should be a good game. Spanish Fork coming in as the favorites, however. There's a strikeout by Hazel. Has been an incredible pitcher for Spanish Fork the last few years, actually. Hazel now being I believe a senior. So this will be her last time, but they're going for a state championship. One more time. That one hit high and over for a foul ball. So that will be 1 strike and 1 ball so far, with 1 out already in the inning. Here's the winds up, throws again. Down thrown, looks like just high for ball number 2. And this Timpanogos team, a fairly good batting team, averaging a 400 overall. And looking to go in here and upset Spanish Fork, who's averaging a 441. Spanish Fork having been perennially a very good slugging team. And now hit far into the field, but it will be caught. That fly ball easily collected. So that will be out number 2 in the inning. Spanish Fork looking to make quick work and get on the offensive.
One thing Spanish Fork wants to do right here is they want to jump on. And definitely they need to jump on the board early with Hazel again pitching for the Lady Dons today. They definitely want to make a quick work, even though it is only the second round. Many teams haven't been able to compete against Hazel. We'll see if today's no different.
Yeah, and as you were saying, making quick work is definitely important, as we saw yesterday in the baseball game in Spanish Fork, going against a underdog in Corner Canyon. However, it went all the way to 9 innings. Something you definitely don't want to be at risk of losing a match this early in the tournament.
Exactly, just like baseball yesterday. I mean, both teams have good records coming into the state tournament, and that's great, but you erase that and you start all over as a new season going into the playoffs. That hit to left center field, and that ball is out of here. Again, Timpanogos jumps on early as Hazel gives up a home run to the number 3 batter in the Timpanogos lineup.
And that is Macadome and Timpanogos going the first run of this game. So the dugout will finally, the players will finally return to the dugout, and we'll get a little bit of order back here. Certainly a lot of celebration there for their team.
And, you know, and Hazel has known to do that a couple games this year, you know. They gave up a run early, and they have a little team conference at the mound. Tell Cambry to shake it off, don't worry about it. Just throw your kind of pitches in there as we go to the number 4 batter for Timpanogos. Swing and miss right there as she bowls that one by her for the first strike.
And yeah, I'm sure Hazel isn't worried. She's been pitching so well for all her years at Spanish Fork. And now her senior year, she's coming to her own with confidence. Down thrown in again for strike number 2.
But again, it's like I've told many people around town this week, you know, that's great and all. And both, you look at the baseball and softball ratings right now, especially softball, as Hazel gets that one for 3 strikes and the out. You know, softball's ranked number 1. They've only lost, I believe, 2 games, once to Grantsville, once to a team from California. They've been number 1 for 2 years in a row. They're ranked number 1 going into the tournament again. You know, everybody's out to get them right now. But we'll see what they can do right here as we go to the bottom of the first.
They sure are. And we'll take a moment here then to thank our sponsors. who are, of course, the Car Guys, Triple T Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing, MVP Sports, sporting goods for all seasons, Dickerson Automotive, the finest repairs with personal care, McKell Christensen Wise, attorneys at law, Two Jacks Pizza, and Lance Wilson of State Farm. Thank these guys for all they do in making these broadcasts possible. I'd also like to invite you to follow us on our social media platforms. They are Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook. Just look for Spanish Fork 17. You can find rebroadcasts and up-to-date content on what Spanish Fork 17 is covering. The game already, as we were just talking about, that Spanish Fork game from yesterday is actually already up. So we get those games up quick, and you can see reruns if you missed the game. Getting back down to the field here, we see both teams warming up a bit, getting back to the bottom of the first inning. Spanish Fork will be looking to get back that run they gave up. Definitely not wanting to be playing from behind in this game as the favorites here. And up to bat first, it will be Aislinn Sharp. She'll swing and a miss for strike number one.
One thing about this Spanish Fork team, they pretty much have a solid team from top to bottom in their lineup. Sharp pops out one up and is taken by the first baseman for the first out.
And yeah, what you're saying is totally true. They have a solid lineup at batting especially. So many players hitting above 400, and then they have great fielders as well, and Hazel, the great pitcher. You were just talking about how they've been so solid the last couple of years, ranked first the last 2 years. My question is, how long can they keep that up, especially with Hazel leading the program?
Well, and
and now popped up there and also caught for out number two.
That's one thing that they've done here at Spanish Fork is, they don't have down years. They just reload and regroup. Again, it is always hard to replace, someone like Hazel, but Coach Andrews always has teams and girls ready to play. Now coming to the plate with two outs is the right fielder, Jordan Bate.
Bate averaging over 500. And that one hit right down the line. Will stay fair territory. Looks like she's got enough time at least to get to second, and she'll hold up there. Wise move by Bate. Probably would have been risky trying to get to third. And that will bring up Rudd for a chance at bat. And two quick outs there got Spanish Fork in a little bit of a predicament. However, it looks like they may be getting something going here, even with one out left in the inning. Rudd coming in averaging a .467. And now thrown in for a strike. So that'll be one strike, 0 balls so far the count. Down thrown a little high for ball number one, evening up the count. And in softball, it's so crucial to have great fielding as we've seen so far with those last couple of catches. That one hit short. Looks like it'll be in foul territory. So crucial to have great fielding, as I was saying, because they get a lot more hits, it seems, as in baseball, and so you got to have a lot more fielding help out there to keep the score down.
Yeah, and a great job there by Briley as she tries to almost bunt one on. Again, with softball, a ball sometimes dies, it stays fair. She pops that one deep. That one is out of here. And Briley Rudd with the homer, and that puts Dons on the board with 2 right now.
Yeah, and that one was real close, though. You saw the fielder trying to reach over the fence, actually got tripped a little bit. Wasn't able to snag that one back into play, however, so they'll get 2.
You know, one thing about these fences, they're all portable fences, and so they're just easy to go back on and just lean as far as they can to try and keep those in. But Briley takes that one deep and puts Lady Dons ahead 2-1. Now coming to the play will be the first baseman, Brooke Carter, who hits in the number 5 spot today for the Lady Dons.
And this is what we expect from Spanish Fork. Every time they always come out just hitting hot on fire.
A pitch just out and away for ball 1 to Carter. Again, you're watching state softball playoffs here on Spanish Fork 17. Carter hits that one down the line, and it stays fair. It looks like it's going to be a ground rule double as it slides past the fence line out there.
And those ones are just bad luck if you're the fielders. Staying in fair territory for just long enough to obviously make that a fair play, but then spinning a little bit and rolling out of bounds, making it really hard for it to collect in time.
So stepping it to the plate now is the shortstop, a junior, Gabby Beckstrom. Off-speed pitch right there to Gabby, and she looks at it for first strike.
You could see her hesitation there. She wanted to swing. Should have probably went with her gut instinct. That one swung on for strike number 2. So quickly down in the count, 0-2. One more strike would end this inning.
One out and away. Again, not paying attention to the runner as Carter stills over to third. So puts Carter at third base now with 2 outs. Beckstrom at the plate. Little blooper taken by the shortstop to end the inning. But here in the bottom of the first, the Lady Dons come up big with the Rudd home run after 1. The Lady Dons ahead of Timpanogos 2-1 as we head to the top of the second.
Welcome back to this game between Spanish Fork Dons and Timpanogos. It's the state tournament for the state championship in high school 4A baseball. Just joining us, we are coming in at the top of the second inning. The score 2-1 advantage Spanish Fork. We saw a couple homers there in that first inning, and what are you seeing so far, Kyle?
Well, you know, Spanish Fork always starts off sometimes a little slow. I think Hazel will come back and start throwing a lot better now. Spanish Fork has lead 2-1 as we head to the top of the second. Pulls that one fire for the first strike.
So far, going good in your prediction. 0 balls and 1 strike. The second one comes in.
Called for a strike there on a check swing. And that one blows past. She blows that one past her for the first out. Again, one thing I've noticed over the course of time, especially with Hazel, once they get through the first inning, sometimes 2, Spanish Fork gets a lead. Hazel starts to get a little bit stronger each and every inning, as she did with those pitches right there. She strikes that one out.
Down thrown in for strike number 1. And that's something that I've noticed too. What do you think that is? Is that something that does most pitchers happen because they get warmed up, or is that just a nerve thing?
You know what? I think sometimes it's just that's the way Spanish Fork softball plays, and sometimes it just takes them an inning or 2 to really get warmed up, and once they get going, then they get on a roll. And Hazel's done that for 3 years now. Today will probably be no different, as she's in command right here with this hitter. 2 strikes. And strike three, that's a called strike three for the second out.
Certainly coming in command there. Already 2 outs in the inning. We need one more to close it out and get them back on the offensive. And Hazel having earned run average of just .8.
Again, she's throwing a little bit better each and every time. And, we're here at the bottom of the Timpanogos lineup. And, sometimes after they've gone through the first round, the lineup, they've seen her a little bit, so they have an idea. But like I said, Hazel gets stronger and stronger each and every inning, especially when she has a commanding lead. That throws it back now. 2-strike count, 2 outs here in the top of the second. And swing and miss right there as they go down swinging for the third out. So here in the second, Hazel gets 3 strikeouts in a row. And after 1.5, the score remains Lady Dons 2, Timpanogos 1.
And I'd like to take this moment between innings to thank our sponsors. They are, of course, the Car Guys, Triple T Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing, MVP Sports, sporting goods for all seasons, Dickerson Automotive, the finest repairs with personal care, McKell, Chris, and Wise, attorneys at law, Two Jacks Pizza, and Lance Wilson of State Farm. Check these guys out. Check out all they do for our community, for SF-17, as well as providing our community with the excellent services they do. We'd also like to invite you to follow us on our social media platforms. You'll have up-to-date information on what we're covering in Spanish Fork area, as well as rebroadcasts of this game and others. So check it out. Getting back down to the game down here, we'll be starting the bottom of the second inning. Spanish Fork still up 2-1. And looks like Hazel will be up to bat here. Hazel, a all-tool player. Very good pitcher as well as batter.
So Spanish Fork will have their 7, 8, and 9 hitters as we start the bottom of the second. Hazel looks at first strike off an off-speed pitch right there. That pitch is out and away for a ball. So count goes to 1-1 to Hazel. Condi waiting on deck. Again, pitch is out and away. Count goes to 2-1.
Spanish Fork coming in this game after their last game, having beat Woods Cross 12-0. Were you able to watch that game, Kyle?
I was.
And what did you think about it? Is Spanish Fork coming in confident here?
They're just doing their everyday thing, just taking care of business.
Hazel signals for the bunt.
And she looks at a called strike. That doesn't happen too often, but she looks at a called third strike right there. And that brings up 1 out here in the bottom of the second.
Coming up to bat will be number 3, Marie Condi. That'll be the 8th batter for Spanish Fork. She swings, and that will be a strike there. A little too high on that one.
Condi really reached for that one. She just needs to sit back and look for a good pitch to drive.
And that
goes
one
to bunt. Should have been called dead ball.
Looks like he will call it dead ball.
Was dead ball. So 2-strike count to Condi.
That's an important situation there. If that would have gone just an inch further forward, that would have been a very solid play, probably being able to get to first. That one also hit into foul territory, so the the count remains 0-2.
Condi chases after that one for the second strikeout of the inning. Brings up the number 9 hitter with 2 outs. The left fielder Mikkel Stone.
Bounce, hit short grounder over the pitcher. We thrown to first in time with plenty of time. So that will be the third out of this inning. Timpanogos quickly bringing that one to a close. So the second inning ends here with the score still 2-1 Spanish Fork. We'll see you in a minute on the other side. Stay with us. Welcome back to this matchup between the Spanish Fork Dons and Timpanogos. If you're just joining us, it's the top of the third inning we'll be coming into here. So far the score 2-1, advantage Spanish Fork. We saw a couple quick home runs, one by each team in that first inning, and then in the second we saw 3 quick strikeouts by both teams.
The number 8 hitter, Tasha Lyman, starts it off for Timpanogos as she squares to bunt right there for the first strike.
Tasha Lyman not one of Timpanogos' best hitters, however still averaging above a 300. They don't really have anyone who can't hit on their roster. Very solid team top to bottom.
That's a 2-strike count to Lyman now. And a swing and miss right there as that one just pulls past her for another strikeout for Hazel.
Yeah, and it looks like Hazel, as you were saying, seems to be getting more and more comfortable here. That, of course, only the first strikeout of this inning, but she is definitely looking good.
Brings up the number 9 hitter now for Timpanogos. And a swing and miss right there.
That swing by Walker, just a little overzealous. Coming in way high, she decided to swing on it anyway. She needs to settle in and see if she can get a good pitcher.
So Hazel sets back in with the pitch. Called strike as she backed away a little bit. Thought maybe it was a hair inside, but it's right on the inside corner. So Hazel, with the count, has 2 strikes now. And called strike 3.
And Walker's not very happy about that one. She thought that one was out too, as well as the last one. But either way, it will be 2 quick outs for Hazel. Feeling very comfortable right now. Her teammates come in to congratulate her real quick at the mound there.
So that takes us back to the top of the lineup for Timpanogos. First time up with a ground out. Trying to play a little small ball right there. A little slash and run as it's called for a strike. And that one's a little bit on the inside as, again, she's trying to do a little slash and run again. Count goes to 1-1.
Down thrown in for another strike, so count now 1-2. And I find it very interesting how they use that in softball. Kind of a tricky play right there, just get your momentum going in the direction of the base.
Well, and especially with a left-handed batter, I see a lot more left-handed batters do it than I do right-handed batters, because they can really pull it to the left side or to the right side on a slash and run, and it's a lot easier for them as she's tried this now, behind in the count. And that one just misses just a little high. I believe the count's evened up. I thought it was 2-2. Yep. 2-2 to Madsen. And that one's out and away. Misses. So count goes to 3-2. Full count.
Hazel's having thrown now 2 balls in a row. We'll see if she can get one more strike. It's always a good thing to be up in the count, as she was, giving her some leeway.
And that one looked really close, but again, we've got a side view today, and that one just misses for a ball, so that puts a runner on with 2 outs.
So that'll bring up, looks like, Gillespie for the Timpanogos softball team.
Swing and a miss right there. Throw at second base, just a little high. I think if Briley would have had her throw down just a little bit, where Gabby didn't have to jump and reach for it, she probably would have had her out at second.
That one was close for sure, and that was an interesting play. That one's hit high into foul territory.
And it's taken by the left fielder for the 3rd out.
So that will bring the top of the 3rd inning to a close, and Spanish Fork will get ready to have some batters up here. But first we'll take a minute to thank our sponsors. There are, of course, the Car Guys, Triple T Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing, MVP Sports, sporting goods for all seasons, Two Jacks Pizza, McHale Christensen Wise, attorneys at law, Dickerson Automotive, the finest repairs with personal care, and State Farm Lance Wilson. These guys make this game possible, so check them out. They also make a lot of things possible for our community here in Spanish Fork. We'll invite you also to follow our social media platforms. Check out Facebook, Instagram, or YouTube. Just look for Spanish Fork 17 and find up-to-date content on what Spanish Fork 17 is doing, as well as rebroadcasts of games. Yesterday's game for Spanish Fork High School men's baseball team is our day up, so check it out. Just joining us, the score here, coming into the bottom of the 3rd, is 2-1, advantage Spanish Fork. Now the team has scored since the 1st inning. A few strikeouts here for both pitchers. And Gillespie for Timpanogos is showing that she can hang with Hazel as a strikeout pitcher.
So Sharp, the number 1 batter in the Spanish Fork lineup, back at the top of the lineup. As we go ahead and go to the bottom of the 3rd, Sharp popped up her first time out. That pitch is in there for strike 1. Again, a cool afternoon, nice crowd here to support these young athletes from both sides.
And that's one cool thing about the crowd here is that it's behind us, but it's also behind the field. I like it how in softball you can do that. The crowd really just kind of surrounds you, even in these low-level high school games.
Oh, yeah. They're definitely bring them out everywhere, especially when it comes to tournament time. Count goes to 2-1 to Sharp. Sharp fouls that one away. Count goes to 1-2 now.
And now it looked like it was placed right on her bat. If her bat would have just been half an inch higher, that one could have been slugged into the outfield, into far outfield.
Sharp hits that one over the shortstop as she'll start it off here in the bottom 3rd with a single for the Lady Dons. Now coming to the plate for the Lady Dons is the 3rd baseman, number 4, Mallory Barber. Mallory popped up her first time up as well. She's 0 for 1.
Now in hit, looks like it will remain fair over to left field. She'll throw to 3rd. Wise move there, cutting off any advance. So the runners will now be at 1st and 2nd. Barber also getting a single.
So now coming to the plate is the right fielder, Jordan Bate. Jordan got a hit her last time up, and then Rudd was able to come through with the home run. And runners hold at 1st and 2nd. Bate, a left-handed hitter. Pitch misses.
Bait another one of those 500-plus batters for Spanish Fork. See if she can get one here. The count is 2-0.
Pitch is up and away. So count goes to 3-0 to Bait. I would assume right here she'll look at Coach Andrews. Coach Andrews will probably give her a take with runners first and second. 3-0 count. She'll probably take on this one, make sure they throw her a strike. And again, that one's right down the 2. So count goes to 3-1 to Bait now. Now anything's open and anything close right there, she needs to put it in play right here. And a hard shot to the second baseman, not able to come up with the play at second base. Just kind of went hard off the glove, and by the time she was able to really grab it and get her composure, not able to make the play. So everybody's safe. Again, a hard shot and kind of a tough play unless you really grab it by the second baseman. Bases loaded, Rudd at the plate. First pitch in there for a strike to Briley.
And you see that slight hesitation there by the shortstop. She looked like she was looking over to the third base instead of seeing what was in front of her right there at second. Trying to make sure that there's no run scored. A smart move, but also that hesitation caused all the runners to be safe.
Well, and it's probably a smart move by Timpanogos right here as their coach goes to the mound and has a quick conference. Again, bases loaded for the Lady Dons. Briley Rudd at the plate, and again, Rudd had a 2-shot dinger her last time up back in the first. And, you don't want to give Rudd anything good. You don't want things to get out of hand right here. Again, no outs here in the bottom of the third.
As you were saying, things could get out of hand very quickly. But last time having hit a homer.
That pitch is pitched out and away on a kind of an off-speed pitch to Briley.
The count now 1-1.
That pitch is low and inside.
Brings the count to 2-1 with no out so far here in the bottom of the third.
Again, Timpanogos looking him down. Still looking for a pitch. Count goes to 3-1. One thing you don't want to do if you're Timpanogos right here, seen it in baseball games earlier today that I've been covering, and you don't want to walk in and run right here, bases loaded. And again, that's up and away. It's ball 4, as I just mentioned that. Ball 4 to Briley, and that's going to walk in and run for the Lady Dons.
So Sharp comes in for the walk-in run. And that is something that I saw a couple times yesterday in the game that I was covering, is the walk-in runs definitely a little bit demoralizing for your team.
Well, and especially in that baseball game yesterday, that's the one thing that helped Spanish Fork yesterday and kind of hurt Corner Canyon is Corner Canyon had them on the ropes right there, but you give up a couple runs, bases loaded, and you got a whole new ball game coming. That pitch is out and away to Carter. Count goes to 1-1. Still, bases loaded for the Lady Dons. No outs here in the bottom of the third.
The score now 3-1 advantage Dons. Bound hit.
Little blooper. It's going to drop.
It'll stay in fair territory.
And they kind of hesitate. They do make the throw at home. Not in time. Runners will advance extra bases. It's going to put runners now second and third for the Lady Dons as Carter goes to second on the throw.
So Mallory Barber and Jordan Bate both coming in for runs. 2 more go quick up on the scoreboard for the Dons.
Beckstrom coming to the plate now. Beckstrom popped up to the shortstop last time up. First pitch is up and away to Gabby. And that one's hit right up the middle. That's going to score 2 more for the Lady Dons as Gabby's going to hold it first.
You see a lot of frustration starting to get into the eyes of the Timpanogos softball team, especially that first baseman coming in to have a little meeting at the mound is probably a good call by their coach there.
Again, Spanish Fork is starting to open up the gap a little bit. Again, clear the bases. They're going to come in with a new pitcher. Beckstrom will be at first base. We'll give them a second to warm up. We'll be back with more state softball right after these messages.
Welcome back. You just missed a ball in the dirt from the new pitcher. That will be Dale coming in, first baseman, coming over to be the pitcher. She'll get a quick talk here by the catcher. And up to bat right now is Hazel for Spanish Fork. Still no out so far in this bottom of the third inning. Spanish Fork having scored already 5 runs, coming in quick in the last couple minutes. Right now the count 1-0 against Hazel.
That pitch is out and away to Hazel. So 2-0 count. Again, Timpanogos has kind of got themselves in a little bit of a hole right now, being down 7-1, no outs, with the pitching change to see if they can kind of stop the bleeding, I guess you would say, of Spanish Fork right here.
And this is where coaching really comes into play. You can see a lot of frustration in Timpanogos. This inning obviously not going the way they had planned. Starting to fall apart a little bit here maybe mentally, and so getting a new pitcher, a good move, but they need to make sure that all their players stay focused. Down hit over will be collected by a third baseman over to first, but it looks like it won't be in time.
It's going to be safe as kind of pull off the bag, but Hazel basically just beats it out. So that leaves runners first and second as Gabby held at second base, which is a smart move. Not having a force at third. Looks like we're going to have a change right here with Condi. Oh, no, we're going to have it'll be a speed-up runner for Hazel.
And that'll be
I believe that's Smith, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. That'll be Lindsay Smith for Spanish Fork. Pinch runner coming in there. And of course, Marie Condi is up to bat, the 8th batter in the lineup.
That pitch is out and away to Condi. Condi, her first time up, went down on a third strike. So she's 0 for 1 back in the last inning. Spanish Fork's practically gone through the lineup. Dead ball right there, strike 2.
Was that strike 2 or strike 1?
I believe that was strike 2. Oh, maybe not. Maybe it's a 1-1. A good bunt right there. Perfect bunt. I believe they did get the out, but a great bunt. Almost beat it out.
And they're looking for the double play on that one. Couldn't quite get that in time, but able to get Condi out at first. A little bit of a sacrifice bunt there going on as the runners will advance to second and third.
So that's going to bring up Mikkel Stone, and she grounded out to the pitcher her last time up. And that pitch is in there for a strike, right at the knees, right at the socks area. Hard hit right there to the third baseman. It's got to be a force, and they do get the tag just in time. Good heads-up play, actually, by the shortstop to make that throw to home, make that call, and get the out.
As you might be able to hear, there is a lot of supporters of Timpanogos here. If their team wasn't loud enough, there's also a lot of supporters here. It's a great show up here at the ballpark. So we'll see if Dale continues to warm up and improve in this inning.
So that brings up 2 outs now for the Lady Dons. Puts runners at the corners. Coming to the plate is Sharp. Sharp got a hit her last time up. That one's in there for a strike. Count goes to 1-1.
Sharp being that batter that started the 5-run onslaught at the beginning of this bottom of the third. Down thrown in for a ball. The count will be 2-1.
And that one again on the outside corner, right at the knees for a strike. So it counts evened up 2-2.
One more strike and they'll end the bleeding here in this inning, but that won't be it.
Popped up. That one's, to me, that looked like a routine pop fly, but it looks like it's tips on out of here as Sharp comes up with the HR and brings a couple more runs across for the Lady Dons.
And if you could see that one, it might have been a little bit of interference there by one of the fans outside the fence. I don't think the fielder would have got to it in time anyway, but he catches the ball before the fielder can have a chance at it. Either way, that is a home run with a couple more runs brought in.
Makes the score now 10-1 for the Lady Dons as we are still here in the bottom of the third. Coming to the plate now will be number 4, Mallory Barber. Barber's popped up and got a hit her last time up. She's 1 for 2. Pitch is up and away for ball 1 to Barber. Jordan Bate waiting on deck. Nice solid hit there by Barber in the gap.
That one will be outside too.
I believe that bounced.
Oh, did it?
I think that
looks like it bounced.
It bounced right at the net. So that should be a ground rule double. Coach Don's going to go say, no, that went straight out. That was just a line drive out. But I think it actually did bounce right at the net.
It looks like the umpires are coming
and
to
now
discuss
they are
that.
going to talk about it to see. I don't know if we have a chance to get our replay on it to see what the exact.
Looks like it is ruled as a double.
The ground rule double, I don't know. If we have a chance to pull that replay back and maybe we can look at that, I don't know if our camera will be able to give us the view on that.
It's interesting how inevitably the entire one team sees it one way and the other team sees it the other way.
Oh, it always happens that way, depending on who you want, huh?
Yep. Now thrown in for a strike.
So they are going to keep Barber at second base with a ground rule double. Brings up Bate. Bate, a hard hit to the third baseman and makes a play in time for the out. But a lot of damage done here for the Lady Dons here in the bottom of the third.
And with that, we'll take a quick break and bring you back with the fourth inning. Stay with us. Welcome back to this SF-17 broadcast of Spanish Fork baseball against Timpanogos. Or softball, rather. Sorry, this is the Spanish Fork softball team. It's the State 4A tournament that you're watching right now. If you're just joining us, it will be coming up at the top of the fourth inning. The score right now, 10-1, advantage Dons. They are just breaking it. They just broke it out in that last inning, scoring 8 runs and a couple homers to boot.
So Hazel still on the mound as we go to the top of the fourth for the Lady Dons. And we're in the middle lineup for Timpanogos as we start the top of the fourth here. 1-0 count. That one just misses. 2-0.
And up to that last inning, you had really seen pretty solid pitching from Gillespie. Then in that last inning, she just started kind of falling apart. They brought in a relief pitcher. Didn't help much, however. They weren't able to stop the bleeding until 8 runs had been scored. We'll see if they can dig their way back here. The count now 3-0.
And she doesn't even wait right there as she goes first on the walk. It's only the second walk that Hazel's given up today. So, number 3 batter in the lineup for Timpanogos.
That'll be Honeycutt coming into the plate.
So Hazel's ready, and here we go with the pitch. Oh, I think they got her on the swipe. Nice job. Heads up play by the Lady Dons. Nice job there by Rudd as she's able to make the throw back at first, down to first, and they get that runner.
Gillespie really caught in no man's land right there. Wondering if she should steal, decided not to.
But when you're down 10-1, I don't know if you'd get off too far right there anyway. You know, you got a lot of runs to make up. You don't want to make a major mistake right there.
You're very right.
That one goes to the left side, just out of play. You know, especially if they were to get a hit or two right here, you know, what that run could have helped them.
For sure. They need all they can get here. No time to be really risky. There's still some time left in this game, but you got to start scoring runs.
And she goes down swinging. That brings up 2 outs. Hazel with the 7th strikeout now today. Brings up Evans, the number 4 hitter for Timpanogos. And that one's right at the belt. That one's in there for a strike.
Count 0-1. Coming up, Hazel needs 2 more strikes as she, as we were saying, seems to be very comfortable now in the game.
Another strike right there. She just gets out and past her. You'll see her come back with kind of a fastball right here. 2-strike count. And, yep, they got her looking on that one. Another strikeout for Hazel is Timpanogos goes down here in the 4th. Brings up 8 strikeouts for Hazel on the day as we go to the middle of the 4th.
The score now 10-1, advantage Dons. We will take a quick second to thank our sponsors. They are the Car Guys, Triple T Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing. MVP Sports, sporting goods for all seasons. McHale, Carrington Wise, attorneys at law. Two Jacks Pizza, and Dickerson Automotive, the finest repairs with personal care. And State Farm's Lance Wilson. Check those guys out and for all they do for the Spanish Fork community. Take a second to invite you to also to follow our social media platforms on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. Check out Spanish Fork 17, and you'll be able to find rebroadcasts of today's game as well as other sporting events and all updated information on what we're covering here at Spanish Fork 17. So stay up to date and subscribe.
As win, lose, or draw right here, both teams will advance and be playing at Taylorsville at the Valley Complex. Those games will begin, I believe, next Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. So you want to see some great softball action. Go out and support these local athletes. Again, those games will be played Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Leading it off here in the bottom of the 4th for the Lady Dons is the catcher, number 10, Bradley Rudd, takes the first pitch for a strike. Pitch is out and away to Briley. Count goes to 1-1.
And yeah, as you were saying, that's when the baseball is really going to, or softball, excuse me, is really going to start to heat up there. That one thrown high, almost hitting her in the head as the Red ducks on that one. Ball number 2. That's when the softball really start to heat up in the next couple of rounds. A lot of games and a lot of really good teams, upper echelon of the state. That one hit left side, will remain fair. Bounce over the fence, so that will be a ground rule double.
And I don't think there was any question on that one. like they questioned the last inning, but that one bounces and goes down the line as Briley's going to get a ground rule double to start off here in the bottom of the 4th. Coming to the plate now is Brooke Carter.
Yeah, and you hope they don't argue a play like that.
Well, right now Spanish Fork has nothing to argue about, being up 10-1. First pitch is out and away to Carter.
Carter, a 400-plus batting average.
Little blooper is going to get over the shortstop, and they're going to send the runner in, and that's going to now make the score 10-1. Or excuse me, 11-1, as they are now ahead by 10. Again, we're in the bottom of the 4th, so they've got to play this inning and the top of the 5th to see if they can close it out. So we'll play the bottom of the 4th here and see what happens. Maybe they'll only get 1, maybe they'll get 5 more. Well, let's wait and see, as there's a conference at the mound. Something, I guess, we will talk briefly about. Being here in the bottom of the 4th, if Spanish Fork does hold on to win, they will take on the winner of the Sky Ridge Maple Mountain game, which should be played today. That pitch is out and away for ball 1. Again, they'll play the winner of Sky Ridge Maple Mountain. Maple Mountain was pulled off the upset there. We could have kind of a crosstown rivalry on Tuesday. That nice catch by the third baseman, and able to make the toss over off her knees for the double play.
That may have been the best fielding play I've seen all game, though. It's excellent concentration there to make that catch right by the ground, but also excellent awareness to be able to get it to first base in time with the double play.
Yeah, nice heads-up play there by Timpanogos. First pitch in there for, looks like a ball to Hazel.
And, you talk about if they can hold on for these bottom of the 4th and 5th. That one hit up high and will be caught to end the bottom of the 4th. But they only have to hold out for the top of the 5th, and Spanish Fork will take this ball game. So we'll take a quick break and bring you back with the top of the 5th. Stay with us. Welcome back to SF17's broadcast of this Spanish Fork 4A tournament game between Spanish Fork Dons and Timpanogos. If you're just joining us, we're at the top of the 5th inning. The score already 11-1, advantage Spanish Fork. These Lady Eagles have done a great job so far, especially in the last couple innings, of hitting the ball and also of not leaving runners on base. What have you seen so far today, Kyle?
Well, again, Spanish Fork had a little bit of a slow start. But Hazel gave up the home run early in the game in the 1st. But basically, it's like I've called it. Spanish Fork comes back. They take a 2-1 lead, and they've pretty much been in command ever since. And look for Hazel to give her best stuff right here as they're up by 10 to try and close it out here in the 5th. First pitch is a little bit low and inside for ball 1.
And Hazel just needs 3 more strikeouts. She already has 7 so far in this ball game. As you're saying, they were able to keep Timpanogos off the board for the last 3 innings. They just need 1 more, but being so desperate, Timpanogos, they're certainly going to be bringing their A game for this inning, so it'll be a tough task to close this one out.
Well, and they can fill it a little bit right here as Hazel's fallen behind. Again, 3-0, because, again, they are up by 10 right here. They'd like to close it out without having to go to the bottom of the 5th. But 3-0 count, she's probably going to be taking right here. Oh, she actually goes after it. Looks like it would have been a strike anyway because it was right there in the zone. Count goes to 3-1. Another pitch in the same spot, right at the belt. So count goes to 3-2 now.
Hazel working her way back up to the full count. See if she can take advantage of it.
And that one just misses. A little bit high for a ball.
Timpanogos putting themselves in position to score here. No out so far. One runner on base, though. Need to keep working that in order to get back in this ball game.
So Timpanogos squaring to bunt, pops it up, taken by Barber, able to get the double play as they got the first baseman off the bag. And again, Barber coming in on it, able to make the throw and get the double play.
In a play like that, I wonder if the first baseman should have just ran to second. Such an easy throw for a third baseman to get it over to first. But yeah, heads up play still there in order to get the double play.
Pitch is up and away for ball one. So that brings up 2 outs here in the top of the 5th. And again, it's probably a play I'm sure most teams would do the same thing. If you're going to bunt, you're going to try and get that runner down, and that runner really didn't look. It just seemed that it was making contact, and that runner was off, and a little too late getting back. 2-0 count. That one's in there for a strike.
Hazel not looking quite so focused as she was in the last couple of innings. Hasn't hurt her so far, though, with 2 outs in the inning.
That one again in there for another strike. One thing you don't want to do right here, you don't want to be called out right here. I believe it counts 2-2. And she goes down swinging for the 3rd out, and that will again end the ball game as Spanish Fork again comes up victorious 11-1 over Timpanogos here in the 2nd round of the state softball tournament.
So we'll take a break real quick and come back with your MVP of the game. The score 11-1, ending in the bottom of the 5th. We'll see you in a minute. Welcome back to the Spanish Fork broadcast of the Spanish Fork Dons matchup versus Timpanogos in the 4A High School State Tournament. If you're just joining us, you missed a great matchup. A dominant matchup between Spanish Fork and Timpanogos. Spanish Fork taking it 11-1 there in 5 innings. Kyle, what did you see in this game?
Again, Spanish Fork probably didn't play their best game, but, again, once they got on top in the bottom of the 1st, they pretty much just went on cruise control after that. Spanish Fork's got through the first 2 rounds pretty solid. Again, as we talked just a few minutes ago, it's going to get a lot tougher as you head up to Valley Complex next week.
For sure, and as you said, they kind of went on cruise control after that 1st inning, being ahead, and especially there in the 3rd inning, they really blew it wide open, scoring 8 runs in that 3rd inning alone, making the score 10-1, then of course scoring 1 more in the 4th to give them that 10-run lead. Which, of course, will bring us to the MVP of the game. We want to highlight Sharp as our MVP because she was really the one who started out those runs. She had that first hit in the inning, which then started that 5-run surge, and then also had a home run later in the same inning to bring in 2 more runs as well as herself. So what did you see from Sharp in this game that impressed you?
You know what? Sharp and all of them, they all just really got focused after that 1st inning, and they're just ready to take care of business.
Yeah, this Spanish Fork softball team, as we know, ranked number 1 in the state, looking to really come back this year and take a state title, as we've seen from them the last few years being perennial powerhouses in this region. Having won today, Spanish Fork will go on to the third round of the playoffs. That will be versus the winner of Maple Mountain and Sky Ridge, who are also playing today, should also be finishing up sometime here. And that game will be on the 23rd. I believe that's next Tuesday at 3:30. So you'll want to join us for that one. Well, sadly, we won't be covering that one. That will be on another network. But keep following these Spanish Fork Lady Dons as they march through these playoffs.
And again, just because we're not able to cover it, there's always a way to find out what they're doing and where they're going to be. And if you're able to get up to Taylorsville, to the Valley Complex, they would definitely love to have a great crowd showing to come out and give them their support.
So we thank you for joining us here on Spanish Fork 17. That will be our broadcast today. Join us for our next broadcast. That will be on Monday at 4 o'clock with the men's baseball team in the next round of the playoffs. So we'll see you then, and thank you, and have a good evening.
Thank you.